The Earth is losing its last green spaces faster than ever. The United Nations warns that 41% of our planet is already desert, while another 40% is on the brink. Imagine a place with no water, no trees, and no life, a barren wasteland where survival seems impossible. Yet in northern China, one extraordinary man decided to fight back. For 30 years, he planted over 300 million willow trees, introduced 4.5 million rabbits, and installed nearly 200,000 solar panels shaped like a massive horse in the desert. His work didn't just stop the sand, it transformed it. Today, the United Nations recognizes this as a global model for desert control, a distinction shared by only a few other places on Earth. The desert he fought is the Kabuki, the seventh largest in China, covering over 7,200 square miles, roughly the size of Massachusetts. Here, winters bite with winds that cut like knives, dropping temperatures below -4 degrees Fahrenheit, and summers scorch the ground. Decades ago, this land was farmland filled with rivers, grass, and villages. But desertification changed everything. Wine swallowed crops, sand buried homes, and the few remaining villagers fled. How did one man reverse what nature had erased? Let's uncover his incredible journey. In the heart of Kabuki, one man emerged as the unlikely hero, Wang Wenbao, later called the Desert King. He wasn't born wealthy or powerful, just a poor teacher in Inner Mongolia, biking 6 miles through relentless sandstorms to reach his classroom. The wind was so fierce that sometimes his bicycle sank halfway into the dunes and grains of sand filled his lungs. Yet, amid the harsh desert, he made a bold promise. If I can't escape this desert, I'll make it pay rent. Starting from nothing, Wang risked all his savings and borrowed money to attempt what no one else dared. In 1988, with a modest salt business, he began an ambitious experiment. He planted millions of willows, built windbreaks, and turned 1,400 square miles of barren land into a hopeful canvas for life. People called him crazy. Authorities labeled him a dreamer. But Wang persisted, living among the sand, measuring every drop of moisture, learning from the harsh land itself. This wasn't just a fight against nature, it was a battle of vision and determination. Wang understood that the desert could be tamed not with machines alone, but with careful planning, relentless effort, and an understanding of the land's hidden potential. And soon, his boldest idea would astonish the world. Most people would never imagine rabbits surviving in a desert. Yet Wang Wenbao saw an opportunity where others saw impossibility. He introduced over 4 million Rex rabbits into Kabukia, species known for its soft, luxurious fur and high reproduction rates. At first it sounded insane. How could tiny, furry creatures possibly thrive in a harsh land of wind, scorching sun, and freezing winters? But these weren't ordinary rabbits. Each female could produce up to 25 litters a year, with hundreds of kits surviving even in extreme temperatures. They ate dry grass, drank little water, and adapted to conditions that would kill most animals. More importantly, their manure was packed with nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, precisely what the desert soil lacked. Every time they did their business, they were fertilizing the land, turning barren sand into fertile humus. There was another clever twist. Rex rabbits couldn't digest seeds completely. So while feeding and roaming, they were planting future vegetation. This created the foundation of a self-sustaining ecological cycle. Willow trees provided shade and food. Rabbits nourished the soil, and the soil helped trees grow. Slowly, Kabuki began to breathe again. It was nature's partnership, orchestrated by human hands. From hopeless desert to a land that could support life, the rabbits became an unexpected army of tiny engineers, rewriting the rules of survival. Wang Wenbao's plan didn't rely on rabbits alone. The silent heroes of Kabuki were the willow trees he planted across the desert. These weren't ordinary trees. Their roots could reach over 300 feet deep, tapping into underground water and anchoring the shifting sand. They provided shade, food, and a stable environment for the rabbits, creating a balance that had never existed in the desert before. The cycle was simple yet brilliant. Young willow shoots fed the rabbits. The rabbits returned nutrients to the soil through their manure. That fertile soil helped the willows grow stronger, which in turn supported more rabbits. Over time, this closed-loop ecosystem transformed the desert. Each acre could produce over 5 tons of organic humus annually, turning lifeless sand into farmland within just a few years. In just a decade, over 300 million willows have been planted, forming a green wall thousands of miles long. Wind speeds dropped by 90%, and sand that once buried homes and roads was held firmly in place. Wang's vision was no longer a dream, it was reality. The desert that had seemed impossible to tame was now teeming with life, all because of a carefully orchestrated partnership between trees, animals, and soil. Wang Wenbao didn't stop at planting trees and releasing rabbits. He turned the desert into a massive living laboratory. Over 300 workers and 100 bulldozers worked tirelessly, sometimes 18-hour days, to flatten sand dunes and build windbreak fences stretching for miles. Within just 5 years, 1,200 square miles of desert, the size of Rhode Island, was transformed into green land. The willows flourished, rabbits multiplied, and local families began returning to the villages that had been swallowed by sandstorms. The project wasn't just ecological, it was economic. By the 10th year, 4.5 million Rex rabbits were thriving, generating $76 million annually, lifting over 10,000 families out of poverty. Each family needed just a few $1,000s to start, yet they could earn 4 times that in the first year. The desert became a source of opportunity, not despair. This wasn't just a project, it was a vision of how humans could work with nature to create wealth, restore land, and support communities. Wang's dream showed that caring for the environment and building a sustainable economy could go hand in hand. Kabuki was no longer just a desert, it was a model of hope, showing the world what determination and smart planning could achieve. Just when people thought Kabuki had reached its limit, Wang Wenbao surprised the world again. He brought solar energy to the heart of the desert, turning once dead land into a futuristic energy hub. The Juma Solar Power Plant, with 196,000 panels arranged in the shape of a galloping horse, became both a source of electricity and a work of art visible from space. Every year, Junma generates 2.3 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity, enough to power over 400,000 people, roughly the population of Miami, Florida. But the project did more than produce clean energy. The panels reduced wind speeds by up to 50%, providing shade for grass to grow underneath, where rabbits, sheep, and geese grazed naturally. The soil was stabilized, sand no longer blew away, and a new ecosystem thrived beneath the solar panels. By 2022, this combination of greenery and solar energy had transformed more than 2,600 acres of the Dead Sea Desert into a green energy oasis. Wang Wenbao had created a closed value chain: meat, fur, manure, biogas, tourism, and solar energy. Kabuki wasn't just surviving, it was thriving, proving that nature and technology could work together to rebuild the world. Decades of hard work in Kabuki finally paid off. Nature responded. By 2023, reports showed a dramatic comeback. Wild deer, desert foxes, and migratory birds had quadrupled since 1990. Species that had vanished entirely began returning to fields, once filled only with sand and bones. Groundwater levels rose by 5 to 6.5 feet in just 20 years, meaning wells now reach water at half the depth compared to a generation ago. The soil regained life. Native plants, from feathergrass and desert poppies to flowering shrubs, returned, creating a breathtaking mosaic of green and gold across the desert. Sand no longer blew freely, replaced by fertile, earthy soil alive with nutrients. Kabuki became proof that even the harshest landscapes could recover when humans worked wisely with nature. Wang's model began inspiring the world. From Spain's Andalusia to Africa and the Middle East, nations facing desertification studied Kabuki's approach. Olive trees, native grasses, regenerative agriculture, and solar farms were introduced, showing that deserts could be revived, communities supported, and ecosystems rebuilt. Kabuki's lessons proved that human innovation, combined with respect for nature, could turn despair into hope. Kabuki's transformation is nothing short of miraculous, but it hasn't been without challenges. Some critics argue that the rabbit and willow model is only part of a larger economic ecosystem led by Wang Wenbao's company. Concerns include possible nitrogen pollution if rabbit manure accumulates too much, changes in soil pH, and even small algae outbreaks in some areas. Yet, despite these debates, the United Nations recognized Kabuki as a global model for desert restoration, a standard few places in the world achieve. The true legacy of Kabuki is more than economics or ecology. It's a vision of what humans can accomplish when determination meets innovation. From barren sand to thriving wildlife, flourishing communities, and renewable energy, Kabuki shows that even the harshest lands can come back to life. Wang Wenbao's work is a reminder. When we act boldly and thoughtfully, nature can reward us in ways we never imagined. If a desert in China can rise from the ashes, what's stopping the rest of the world? Could these green miracles save our planet? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell on my channel, Mr. No, where we explore the most unbelievable facts and stories from around the world. Stay tuned, because the next story will leave you saying, unbelievable.